he felt familiar, but she had never seen him before. So he spoke to her and said, tell Daddy Ray, Big Mama don't want nobody to sell this land, that this is sacred land and this
trying to push our narratives. Just, ugh.
Yeah, some people's ancestors have no boundaries in a hilarious way, okay? Story time.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and all day. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just.
Okay, y'all. So I'm watching this show called Celebrity Ghost Stories, and Pam Grier was telling a story about when she was a little girl. She went to her family's land in the country. It was like a farm, and her daddy Ray was her grandfather, who she went to the farm with, and they were planning to sell the farm because they needed the money. She said she was sitting down on a bench in the yard, and this man walked up to her that she had never seen before, and the man was just staring at her, and then he cracked a smile, and he didn't feel unsafe. Like there was no like red flags going off about him, that he felt familiar, but she had never seen him before. So he spoke to her and said, tell Daddy Ray, Big Mama don't want nobody to sell this land, that this is sacred land and this is our land. And she said, okay. She said her granddad came out the house. She turned back around to see if Uncle Joe was still there. He was gone. Oh, I forgot to say that Uncle Joe introduced himself too before he spoke to her. So she told her granddad what had happened, and he was shook because he was like, Uncle Ray been dead 20 years. And baby girl didn't know. She was like 10. So I recently have become so interested about or with ancestral stories, like people actually coming in contact with their ancestors, people in their family. And I think it is so interesting. However, I'm so conflicted because growing up as a Christian, we don't learn about ancestors. We don't learn about, or we do, but it's often like a negative thing. Like, you know, there's a gulf between like the living and the dead, and like they're not supposed to cross over it. But so many people have stories about talking to their ancestors and their ancestors leading them and guiding them. There has to be some truth to that. I just cannot deem everything demonic or satanic, especially when these people's ancestors guide them in a good way. You know what I mean? But I've been coming across a lot of TikTok videos of people talking about how ancestors have been popping up, for one, to help them, but also two, tormenting the hell out of these people in their like older days. Like people that work in nursing homes talking about how these people are tormented by people that they have lynched, unalived, or tormented at some point in their later days. There has to be some validity to it, y'all.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny and happy Thursday. So let's talk about it. It's only here that I see people demonize their ancestors. No, it's only here that I see black people demonize their ancestors, because a lot of people that I've come across actually have an altar, or they keep their ancestors' energy alive by praying to them, by offering them whatever they used to like when they were alive, by basically requesting for help from them, the good ancestors, because you have some ancestors who were not great in person in real life. They're also not going to be great in the afterlife. So just be careful, and also make sure you call upon the ancestor that used to be good in real life, like the one that used to be here to help. So if you have an ancestor that used to be a drunk and you're trying to, stop yourself from being a drunk or get rid of the bad habit, you wouldn't call the help of this ancestor to help you because they used to be a drunk and they love alcohol. Okay, so.
And per the usual, here come the Christians entering the chat room that nobody invited you to, being loud and wrong per usual. Sit down. Let's talk. Let me get you together while I'm gathering. I said it in one video, and I must have to say it again because apparently listening and comprehension is not y'all's strong suit. We do not worship the ancestors. 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 We venerate our ancestors. We create that open line of communications between ourselves and our closest ancestors because they are our first guardians. Coupled with our ancestors is our acknowledgement and veneration of nature. Why? Because the ancestors and the nature go together simultaneously. And together, that's how we take our alchemy and we are able to wield energy to manifest or bring into fruition, however you want to use that verbiage, the things in our life that we want and we need the most. And also protection. That's what that is for. Us practitioners, we do not give the Most High Divine Supreme Being a name. Why? Because in this space, we respect that everyone who practices hoodoo does not have the same beliefs that the next person have. Unlike, organized religious systems where you have to basically be a part of a cult to be accepted. No, everyone is different and everyone can have different beliefs and still practice these things. Last and certainly not least, for those of you who like, oh, well, you'll see on your judgment day is every day. Judgment day is every day. There is not a waiting period until you transition from this life into the next where you have to sit in front of a man with white hair and be judged. But because y'all want to trade in the 42 laws of Ma'at for the 10 commandments by Moses, which, by the way, the 10 commandments was inspired by the 42 laws of Ma'at. Y'all don't understand or understand that judgment is every day. You are supposed to live in alignment every single day. There's no waiting period for this. Like, just exit the chat room. Again, y'all loud and wrong all the time for no reason. Nobody invited you into the space. We don't come into y'all space trying to push our narratives. Just, ugh.
Yeah, some people's ancestors have no boundaries in a hilarious way, okay? Story time. So I'm over here, I wake up, go to the bathroom, it's way too early and all that stuff. So I decided to go back to sleep and everything because I had about a couple of hours before my session and enough time to be able to wake up, shower, do everything else, yeah? I go back to sleep and I'm over here having dreams about my client and everything, about exactly what they're going through, every single thing else, how to counsel them, and everything in between. Okay? And I get the sense that someone is watching me as I'm sleeping, just looking at me, staring at me real hard. I wake up and right over me, my client's grandmother is looking down on me, just going like, good, you're awake. I'm over here looking at her crazy because I'm in my birthday suit, not even showered or ready or anything. And it's just like, time to get to work. And I'm like, ma'am, boundaries, Jesus.
What if we are our own ancestors?
We are. We literally are. This is not a new concept. Shout out to this creator. Since it's Hoodoo Heritage Month, I'm going to talk about it. It is well documented in many African traditions, tribes, spirituality, and cosmology that it is believed that we come back through our bloodline. And yes, this did carry over to where we are right now. How many times have you heard somebody say, that baby been here before? Oh, she been here before. Oh, she ain't. This ain't her first time here. That's Hattie coming back. Oh, no. That's cousin Ronald coming back. That's Ronald. If there ever was Ronald, that's Ronald right there. This is also why it doesn't make sense when the people be talking about, oh, I can do hoodoo because, my 15th generation's back and we're all African. Boo, no. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I ain't going to show my ancestor because if you know, you know. My grandmother passed when my father was 12 years old, which means obviously I never met her. However, as I was growing up and looking at myself and looking at a family photo, I could literally see myself morphing into this woman. And so I would play a trick. On my friends when they would come in the house. I would take my current high school photo and her photo, which she was in, I believe, her 30s. And I would say, now, who is this and who is that? And they would be like, and they would be so tripped up at how is there a black and white photo of you older than you are today? So anyway, y'all, get in these comments, stitch me, let me know y'all stories. Who you came back as?
Now, don't get me wrong, I do know some Haitians who still believe that it's demonic to keep a picture of your ancestor that just passed away because they're considered to be demons once they die, which to me is crazy because if that person used to be a good person in the waking life, just because they died does not make them all of a sudden a demon. You know what I mean? Because they're gone and they're in a different realm, different area, on the behind the veil. So I never understood this. Like you would say, oh, well, don't leave a picture of that person who have passed up because they're demonic. Have you heard of the phrase that Beyonce said in one of her music? She said, Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. That's why I think, like, look, Beyonce have dropped so many hints about how she is a witch and how she does like ancestor divination and all that. But let's talk about demonizing your ancestors. What is up with that? Because to me, it's like, if you think that a skull is, I know Asian people, I know white people, I know Spanish people, I know all of these people from different cultures and religion. Even though they're Christians, they still have an altar with their ancestors' photo just to, you know, burn incense, burn money, and all that to ensure that they have a good passing, and also and like requesting for help from their ancestors, because they have almost like, you gotta look at your ancestors like they have a bird's eye view, so they can see everything in this world and also in the spiritual world. So therefore, if you're asking them for help and they have a bird's eye view, they can see everything, then obviously they'll be a better person to help you versus someone who is in the physical. Although you could ask people in the physical for help, but your ancestors are going to come through 100%. And the way you're going to help get your ancestors to help you is every day you can light up a white candle and you pray to your ancestors, and make sure that you request the ones who are good. The Asian people have an area in their business where they put Buddha and also the cat that's waving. I have like all of them here, but they burn incense, prosperity incense. They put a money candle, and also they put a money tree there so they can attract customers, and you're the customer that's being attracted by their ancestors to come into the place of business to bring them more money. So if they can do this, why can't you do the same thing? And you go in there willingly, you go in there expecting to get service. You don't think their ancestors are walking next to them? You don't think their ancestors are giving them the knowledge and the understanding and the ability to attract more money? They're doing these things and to make sure that their life is fruitful and abundant, and also to make sure they have a protective shield around them. And their ancestors are to be thanked for the things that they have. God also, if you believe in God, but their ancestors are. So for example, I had an ancestor or I had a cousin who used to be in real estate, right? And God forbid the cousin passed. What I can do is use my cousin's picture if I'm trying to manifest a new home, because he was already energetically attached to like selling homes, buying homes, and providing a home for someone. So therefore, that cousin would be the best person to work with. If I had a wealthy cousin that passed on, right? A cousin, an uncle, whatever. I'm going to use their photo, probably even get some dirt from their grave to do some money work to bring me a wealthy man or whatever it is, because that's already in their realm of practice. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you have to work with the energy, and I'm not saying that you have to, but don't be afraid of it. Do your research before you become so afraid of something that they've been telling you that is wrong, okay? Because even in Haiti, we also have land. Even in Haiti, anyone that you know that's from Haiti will always tell you, oh, my family has a land in Haiti, which we call the habitation, which is the land that all of the generation have grew up on, and work have been done, offering has been given, because you want to continue to bless your ancestors so they can bless you back in return. And a lot of those people never sell their lands. They never allow other people to come unless you are married into the family and you have the name, because the name is what is important. Your name, your last name, your DNA is what is important, which is what attaches you to your ancestors. So if you're looking at your ancestors that have passed as demonic, then you could also call yourself the same thing, because you're naturally connected them like a wire that is connecting, you know, a family tree, basically the same exact thing. But it's only here in the United States that I see like black people are so afraid of their own things, and other people are using your own things against you. Remember, history is her story. Don't allow other people to use your things that you were blessed with by divine right, which is your birthright, to allow them to use against you. And guess what? A lot of people are doing these things and worshiping their ancestors, sending hex, sending love spells, doing prosperity work, removing generational curses from their family, using their ancestor magic, using their ancestors' photos, using their ancestors' energy energy to break ties from negativity, to break ties, to bring prosperity to them, to bring more love to them, to attract someone, to keep someone there, to, not saying that you should do anything against someone's will. Like, for example, sometimes when families are getting together and you just want everybody to be on the same page, no arguments, nothing. So therefore you use an apple and you do some work to make sure that there's no argument, everybody's fine, everybody's happy, and generational curse is a real thing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you enjoy some of those tips and I hope you put them to use, because knowing something don't mean nothing unless you actually put it to practice and you actually practice it, you actually use it in your life. So